we all doing? As always, my dog has decided he wants to come and see me, even though he's been sleeping the whole time. So that's awesome. So that's him right here wanting tickles off me. I'm just checking that I am live in the right place. Yeah, there I am. Awesome. Today's live is going to be an interesting one. I have spoken to a few people recently who have talked about emotional eating and eating their emotions, and whenever they feel down or a negative emotion, they will eat in a negative way that has a negative impact on their life. Similarly, people who are happy, they will feed themselves with food that they think that they actually enjoy and their bodies like when they're kind of celebrating or that kind of thing. I'm going to go into how you can unbreak these habits and unravel them a little bit. This type of emotional eating, this type of habit is difficult. It is difficult to unravel, but the key is consistency and taking action and giving you the grace to be able to start unraveling these habits and viewing food in a different way. So if you are adding emotion into your eating habits, this is the live for you. And if you want to stop eating in this way, then I would encourage you to keep on watching. So I'm going to go through a few tips here, and I've got my notepad here, so hopefully I can read my own handwriting. But yeah, I've broken down into some kind of practical tips for you to get started. And the final tip will kind of like link everything together, and it'll be your starting point. So I'm going to just jump in now before I end up just wumbling on. But I do want you to break down this habit and your mindset by following these 4 things. So number 1 is deciding you want to break that habit. So you need to make that decision that you actually want to break that habit. And that decision can't be half-assed. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'd like to break the habit. Yeah, I'd like to stop emotional eating. Oh, that's why I'm not making progress with my fat loss goals. That's why I'm not making progress with my goal to do a certain event or fitness or getting stronger or keeping my energy levels consistent or whatever it is that your emotional eating is holding you back from. I need you to make the decision that you want to stop. No one else can make that decision for you. So that's the number 1 thing that I need you to do. I need you to put a firm yes that I really want to change this habit, and I'm deciding right now that I'm going to change this habit. This might look like you journaling on it. Some people can go, yep, drawing the line in the sand, I want to make this change. I feel really driven to do this change. If you're the other person who is a bit on the fence and you're like, I'd like to, but, because you've probably got some buts there, but I have other priorities. I have my kids that get in the way. I have a bereavement. I have a job that gets in the way. I don't have control of what I eat. But, all these buts need to stop, because there's some form of process or some form of plan that I can help you with to help you get around your buts. So I need you to follow step 1 and make a decision right now that you are going to draw a line in the sand and stop with the emotional eating. Don't worry if you fail tomorrow or fail today, that's completely fine. But I want you to get that mindset in that you want this. You really want this, because I can't give you that motivation. I can't give you that desire to want it. I want you to feel that desire. And I mentioned journaling. So if it does take you time to write down why you want it, then please do that. If you've watched any of my other live trainings and I've spoken about goal setting, I always talk about whys. Why do you want that? And really write everything down. Spend 10 hours writing it. Write pages and pages of why you want to stop emotional eating. Because everyone's reason whys will be different. Yeah, there will be some overlap. And if you feel confident enough to, I would encourage you to post in the group that you want to stop emotional eating. And these are the reasons why. If you're feeling confident enough to do that, feel like you are happy to share that with people. If you are, you might actually be able to help other people understand why you're personally doing it, and they might be able to pick out some reasons why they want to do it as well. And the more people that we can get going with this, the better. Because you'll feel that sense of community, you won't feel alone with this, and you'll be unraveling that habit together. So I would definitely encourage you guys to post in the group. And I will talk about February, because February's coming up very soon. Alright, so that's number 1, is making that decision. I can't make that decision for you. You need to make that decision. Number 2 is recognizing that food is a means to function properly. And what I mean by this is that we need to eat. We need to fuel ourselves appropriately. So you might have watched my previous live on essentially fueling yourself properly. Like you can actually eat more to lose fat. So if your goal is fat loss and you're currently starving yourself and under eating, then I would recommend that you go and find that live. If you can't find it, then just drop a comment below and I can tag you in it, or my business manager Michelle can tag you in it, so that you can go back and watch that one. But what we need to do is realize that food is a means to function. Food is just a process. We're getting those calories in. Not just calories though, we're getting those macronutrients, we're getting those micronutrients in. We're nourishing our bodies. And that is what food is. Yes, we can spend that time enjoying food, but that's kind of where a lot of us have gone wrong. We have attached this emotion to food, where you eat cake on your birthday, it's a positive thing, you eat this cake. You eat chocolate around your period because you're feeling a bit sad. You might drink alcohol when you are going through a breakup. You'll see on movies that if someone goes through a breakup, they'll go and get a tub of ice cream and they'll sit and eat the ice cream and cry. What we need to do is unravel that mindset, and this is a society thing. So it's difficult because there'll be other people in your life who are thinking in that way. And don't get me wrong, you might go back into that way of thinking from time to time, and that's completely fine. I do as well. You know, sometimes I'm like, I want to celebrate getting a job promotion, I'm going to go and get a curry. And that's me attaching an emotion to food. It's a celebration of food. Or I might be like, oh, I'm missing my family, I feel sad, I don't want to cook anything nutritious, I'm just going to buy a pizza because I feel sad. Don't worry about that. But what we want to do is start unraveling it. We want to start thinking about food in a different way. We want to think food actually is massively awesome to us, but it's more a process. It's more about us functioning correctly. So what I mean by that is that we need to make sure that we're getting protein in our diet. Why do we need protein in our diet? It's not just about building the muscles, you know. It's not just about that. It's about repair of the body, repair of everything, repairing the skin, repairing all the cells in our body. That's what protein does for us. So we need that protein for repair. Our bodies are constantly repairing. And if we don't get enough protein in, we're not going to get that repair. So that's the function around protein. What is protein? It's things like your meat, your dairy, your plant-based protein like tofu, like soy, your nuts, your seeds, etc. If you're like, I don't even care too much about that, and you're maybe thinking about how you look, protein builds your skin cells. It helps grow nice hair. So think about it in that respect if you're thinking about how you look. I need to sneeze. We need carbohydrates. Why do we need carbohydrates? For energy, for thinking. I did talk about fueling yourself appropriately for fat loss, and I talked about carbohydrates in that video, so I don't want to go too much in depth. But if you've heard of the keto diet, essentially it's about starving our brain. So carbohydrates are purposeful in our diet. We need to think, yes, we need carbs for our energy. Then we've got our micronutrients. So our micronutrients are mainly from things that give us vitamins and minerals. So this could be your nuts, your seeds, your vegetables, your fruits. There's lots of vitamins and minerals in like meat-based animal-based protein as well, but we want to think about getting a wide variety of things into our diet that has lots of vitamins and minerals. And this is where it can be a learning thing for you as an individual, because our bodies all need something different. Yes, there's recommended daily allowances for different vitamins and minerals for females, for males, for children, but our bodies are all different. And the way that we've treated our body up until now, so I'm 33 years of my life I've been eating in a certain way, and I've changed the way that I've eaten, and I've learned different things about my body because I have followed step 2 in terms of recognizing that food is fuel. But I was brought up in a certain way where essentially we would eat meat and 2 veg and a carbohydrate. We were pretty healthy, but there might have been certain things in my diet that might have been missing that I potentially am lacking now, that I'm building back up. I personally have a thyroid condition, so the vitamins and minerals that I need to pull into my body need to help nourish my thyroid. Someone else might have type 2 diabetes, so you need to bring things into your body that are going to help you rebalance your metabolic condition. You might have an issue with, I don't know, there's just lots of different things. I could go into lots of different medical conditions, but what you need to do is find out what's right for you. And the best starting point is by balancing out those proteins, those carbs, getting those micronutrients in by trying to feed your body as much as possible. It might be a case that you do need to go to a doctor and get a blood panel to find out if you are lacking in some nutrients, especially if you are feeling symptoms of potentially things like depression or low energy, fatigue, skin problems, that kind of thing. And then you could work with a dietitian or a nutritional therapist to help just hone in what you need as an individual. But this is all about the learning process. If you're not currently getting protein in, carbohydrates, fats, and some veggies and fruits into every single meal, then I would start there. That's where my advice lies, to start off with. And then essentially all you need to do is listen to your own body and watch your own body. So this could be your skin changing. This could be your digestion changing. It could be the amount of water retention that you've got. But all of this is about understanding your body and how you feel in your body and how your body reacts to the food. Because we want to make sure that we're nourishing our body in the right way. Just pop my charger back in. There we go. So we want to make sure we are recognizing that food is a means to function properly. We want to think that it's more than just survival. So there's people out there who might have been brought up around that, we need to make sure that we're donating to kids in Africa because they're starving. There's the opposite side of things where people are malnourished because they're overeating. And this is happening a lot in the Western world, where people are overeating, especially children. They're overeating, they're overweight, but they're actually still malnourished. So therefore they're not starving, but they're starving themselves of nutrients. And this is going back to making sure that you're seeing food as a source of fueling yourself and functioning properly. That's what we want to see food as. It's about functioning properly. It's more than just survival. You don't need the calories in every single day. We need the calories plus all the goodness within those calories. It's not just about eating enough, it's about eating the right things. But it's not super complicated for most people. Get that protein, get those carbs, get your veggies, get your fruits in, and see how your body thrives from that. If you're not thriving from enough food and enough type of different foods that you're getting into your body, then maybe you do need to go and get a blood panel done. But I would imagine the majority of people, if you switch up your diet and you're seeing it more as a means of functioning properly and taking away that emotional connection to it, then you'll see lots of results straight away. This is a mindset change. So I'm saying that you need to do this. It's not going to change overnight for the majority of people anyway. As I say, I'm on a learning journey, and I have been for quite a few years, learning about myself and what works for me in terms of food. But the majority of my clients that I've worked with have followed a very set process of protein, carbs, fats, veggies, and reducing the amount of processed foods in their diet, and they feel better. Even if they're not quite balanced out, they still feel better eating that way than they did eating McDonald's, for example, and eating their emotions and going out and getting takeaways and all that stuff when they're not feeling so great. So I want you to think about, I want to eat food that's going to make me thrive as an individual. The third point that I want you to do is I want you to make a plan and prepare food. This is how you are going to be successful. Unless you are already good at eating and you're good at making decisions around food and you've got the time, a lot of people don't have that. I want you to think about planning. So what are you going to eat tomorrow? What are you going to eat for the whole week? And make a plan and prep food. And the great thing about planning and prepping food and then thinking about it back in point 2 where you're recognizing food is about a means to function, it's not an emotional thing, is that you can eat the same thing over and over and over. And you're nourishing your body and you're not feeling that emotional connection thinking, I'm bored of this food. Because you're seeing it as a way to function. So for example, I have personally just prepped a load of potatoes. I literally just filled a pan of potatoes, boiled it up, and I'm going to add potatoes to like at least 2 meals a day for the next 4-5 days as my means of carbohydrates. I don't need to mix it up. I don't need to have bread. I don't need to have rice. I don't need to have pasta. I've boiled those potatoes. They were in the house. Sorted. That's me planning and prepping ahead. I've got that carbohydrate planned, done. I know I'm going to fuel myself appropriately with the right amount. I also fried up chicken in the air fryer for, I think, 5 meals. And then I'm going to eat that. And it's like, so you're going to have chicken and potatoes and salad essentially for the next 5 meals. Yep. And yes, by the end of that 5 meals, I'll probably be like, I'm a little bit bored of this now. And that's me adding emotion in. I'm that human adding that emotion in. So as I say, it's normal. But I've had 5 really healthy meals there. And I've nourished my body and given my body what I need. And that's me planning and preparing. Yes, it might get boring. But once you're in the habit of eating boring food, it's taking that emotion away and you're like, okay, it's all good. So I want you to think about what you're going to eat. And again, post in the group. Let us know what you think you're going to eat. If you're struggling with ideas, then post in the group and let us know. The only way that we're able to help you is if you ask for help. And then number 4 is consistency and accountability. And essentially, number 4 is following points 1, 2, and 3. So deciding, keeping hold of that decision that you want to break that habit. Recognizing that food is a means to function properly and keeping that in mind. And then planning and preparing food. And just keep going. Keep following those steps. Consistency and accountability. The hardest thing with consistency and accountability is if you're doing it alone. And you've joined this group for a reason, so you obviously want some support. So what I would really encourage you to do is post in this group. Post on a daily basis. Let us know what your plans are. Let us know what you've eaten. And that's where I'm going to bring you on to February. So it's currently the 30th of January right now. We're coming up to the 1st of February. There's 28 days in February. Why not try and show up every single day in February and let us know that you've eaten? Just give us a tick. I'll show up in the group myself and I'll give myself a tick. What I do want to do though is I want you to decide how many strikes you're allowed during that month. So for example, I'm going to give myself 3 strikes. This means that I'm going to be off my plan. If I do emotionally eat, it's fine. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I might even plan in an extra sugary meal somewhere. I'll most likely keep one of the strikes for PMS time because I know that those emotions and the hormones can take over. I will try my best to follow these tips, but emotions can take over. But I'm going to give myself those 3 strikes so that I know that I can stay on track. I know that I'm going to feel good, but I'm also giving myself a bit of leeway. I'm not being super strict on myself. So you make the decision on how many strikes you have. I would recommend probably no more than 5 so that you are getting on that consistency train. So if you show up every single day in February and just tick off how you're doing from a nutritional perspective, You're going to be on into a winner after the 28 days. So I'm going to give you a couple of days to decide on whether you actually want to join in and do that. I'm going to post daily in here and let you know how I'm getting on. I'll tick off the day 1, day 2, etc. So you can just turn up. All you have to do is comment on my post, or you can post in the group and just say complete or strike. And I'll let you know when I've striked as well. And what I've done the strike for. So just to recap, how to break down the habit around emotional eating and eating around all your emotions. So number 1, decide. You make that decision right now. Do some journaling. Number 2, recognize that food is a means to function properly. It's not a means to reward yourself. It's not a means to punish yourself. It's just a means to function properly. 3, make and plan and prepare your food. And 4, get consistent and hold yourself accountable for it, which we can help in this group. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you need any support. As I say, we've got a couple of days. If you are watching this and you're a little bit late to the game, or you might even be watching this well into the future, you can still very much use this group to stay on track with your nutrition and hold yourself accountable. We will be here to help and cheer you on. Alright guys, speak to you all soon. Bye!